I'm Lizzie, and I'm from the US. And what I've been thinking about is what does a game designer do when her country feels like this? I've been wrestling with this question. I know I'm not alone. My country is rapidly dismantling its own democracy, eroding the human rights of people I love, and moving swiftly toward fascism. It absolutely feels like a trash fire to me. I find it difficult to stand on stage and say this when so many other people in the world are withstanding war, occupation, famine, atrocities, and more. I know some people in this room and some of the people watching online have been directly impacted, and that others here are career activists. And I just want to say, our hearts are with you, and your resilience is crucial to a better world. So please keep going. Let's be clear. LARP design is not going to stop a war, halt a crisis, or put out any trash fires on its own, but I think it has a supporting role to play. Why design LARPs in a global crisis? According to Dr. Stuart Brown, founder of the National Institute for Play, the opposite of play is not work, it's depression. Tyrants would like us to be depressed because that makes us easier to control. And tyrants go after artists for a reason. For inspiration, I've turned to Black activists like Cleaver Cruz, founder of the Black Joy Project, who's taught me that joy can be a form of self-care and resistance in itself. I've also turned to Argentinian activists Las Madres and Las Abuelas de Plaza de Mayo. They've fought for their disappeared children and lost grandchildren for the last 48 years. I visited them in 2023 while working on my next book. My day job is I write nonfiction. So, and right now I'm working on a book tentatively titled Big Crone Energy about incredible old women who are saving the world. So I visited Las Abuelas de Plaza de Mayo in 2023, and I learned this from them. Their bravery, it comes from love. It comes from love of their children and grandchildren. It comes from their love of country. It comes from their love of justice. And this is the kind of love that says, I see you, I'm with you, and we fight together. Resistance requires many tools: protests, mutual aid, legal interventions, direct intervention, and of course, play. Play can cultivate love and joy, give us the fuel to keep going, the rehearsal space for courage, and a reminder of what we fight for. One reason we design LARPs is that when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So we're LARP designers. Of course we want to make LARPs that respond to current events. I want to be part of a revolution where we sing, dance, write, and LARP, not as a distraction, but as proof that we're still here, alive and fighting. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how my LARP collaboration with Jason Morningstar, we call ourselves Six of Hounds, puts this into practice. So Jason and we've designed together since 2017 or so. We meet for 2 hours a week, and we publish designs when we feel they're ready. Our collaboration is about artistic satisfaction. We're making the LARPs we want to make for fun and for art. We're a proudly small-scale venture, and we design scenarios with small social footprints. Think 3 to 8 people, 4 hours or less, and like some stuff you printed out on your home computer. We publish our designs on itch.io. And Jason is an astonishing designer and an incredible collaborator. He's probably most famous for designing Fiasco, but this man just designs constantly. If you are interested in this topic, you should definitely check out some games he designed without me. There's Winterhorn, which was created to help activists harden their defenses. And if you're volunteering to call voters and speak to them about issues, he has also designed a LARP you can play while you do it. It's called Phones of Glory. So realistically, who's going to play our games? We don't know a ton about our audience, so we make a lot of assumptions. We assume our audience is small, perhaps a few hundred people. We suspect they lean left, and most of them, or at least a plurality of them, live in the US. We also assume that they're a bit like us, engaged but exhausted by the fire hose of apocalyptic news. We want fun, and not that type 2, let's pretend to waterboard each other for serious art reasons stuff. What help are we qualified to give? Limited help. You don't want us teaching you to triage a gunshot wound, for example. But we and Larp are absolutely qualified to do a couple things. We can provide a brief, joyful escape from the world's problems. We can build community. We can provide a rehearsal space for courage, and we can provide space for reflection on current events. Here's how that has looked in practice. Our response to COVID was to make 4 lovers. Our goal was to build community and provide space for reflection. We designed this in the pandemic's early days when we knew people weren't ready to talk about what was happening. Instead, we made a game about flirty people in love, except they are quarantined in the Doge's palace in Renaissance Venice. And we designed this game for video chat play, and we used the affordances of video chat. So after the workshop, the LARP begins in text mode. People are writing notes to each other. When the Doge declares that some windows may be opened, we add audio chat. And a bit later, when the doors may be opened, we added video chat. To leave the castle, get out of quarantine, you had to get married, which provided a perverse incentive for some people who really shouldn't wed to do so. A few years into the pandemic, we also got super specific about our audiences. We discovered this new way of designing games for us. We chose 4 friends at random, and we designed a game specifically for them. So what would John, Gian, Kitty, and Alex want to play together? Obviously, a cozy forest LARP about teenage animals making real friendship bracelets. Another group inspired Project Conifer, which is a LARP about lovelorn CIA operatives making poor choices during a coup in the 1970s. In 1970s Bolivia specifically. And this game, we were challenging ourselves to make a spy drama, just sometimes we're also like, what have we not done? Oh, vampires. And the Conifer setting was particularly appealing for Jason, who told me, and I quote, I want to roll around in history like a dog on a dead skunk. After the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we designed the broadcast. We wanted to make a rehearsal space for courage. We wanted to raise awareness, and we wanted to help provide some sense of solidarity. So one of the stories that reached us in the days after Russia invaded Ukraine was of TV Rain, which is a Russian news station closed down for its coverage of the invasion. The journalists resigned live on air in protest. Their last words were "no war." And so we got to researching a little bit. We talked to several journalists who work under state censorship, and we learned a bit about their experiences. Then we designed the broadcast, which is a stressful but also quite funny LARP about censorship. You play a nightly news crew and the censor in a fictional totalitarian state. Before each broadcast, you edit each night's script. This was like the hardest part of the design process, was writing 3 complete 5-minute newscasts. And as you edit, you have to make decisions about how you're going to ride the line between your ethical obligation to report the truth and legal pressure to report what the regime wants you to say. The game feels like a lot closer to home now. Last weekend, the New York Times published a list of about 200 words that the Trump administration is purging from government documents. Words like diversity, female, bias, and pronouns. Our first inclination after the 2024 US presidential election was to make a LARP about a revolutionary cell of prey animals in bucolic Mosley Wood, the same place where they were making the friendship bracelets just a few years earlier. But that didn't meet the fun part of our brief, and it also started to take a strange turn into a strategic card game, and that's just not our wheelhouse, so we threw it out. Then a declassified OSS brief from the 1940s went viral, called the Simple Sabotage Field Manual, and I'm just gonna say that again. It's called the Simple Sabotage Field Manual, and if you Google it, you will find it. It's what the US circulated to agents and partisans behind Nazi lines during World War II to help them slow down fascism. It's mostly tips on industrial espionage, stuff like keep the saw blades dull, but it also includes help for office workers. Things like, and I quote, when possible, refer all matters to committees for further study and consideration. Attempt to make the committees as large as possible, never less than 5. The manual inspired us. Some of our audience and some of our friends and family work for the US government, which is the world's largest employer. Right now, many workers have been rope-a-doped into subverting the agencies they serve and destroying their own jobs. Maybe our game could help spread techniques to help slow things down. The result is the Mosley Wood Slowdown, in which prey animals working for a predator at the mousetrap factory try to slow production without getting fired. It's currently in playtesting. You see some of our playtesters here. And if you want to learn more about it, please get in touch. Slowdown techniques alone aren't going to stop fascism. No one thing will. But small acts of resistance add up. They buy time, and they create friction in systems of oppression. In times of crisis, joy can feel like betrayal. While the world burns, play can feel selfish. But the opposite of play is not work, but depression. That's exactly what authoritarianism, injustice, and despair feed on, our exhaustion and numbness. It's a privilege to know how to design LARPs and to have the time and the bandwidth to do so. We all resist in big and small ways in different areas of our life, and all of them are needed. Jason and I, we don't have it all figured out, but we do know this. Joy fuels us, play strengthens, restores, and recharges us for the fight ahead. Play is not just an escape, it's fuel. And it's proof to them and to us that we are still here, alive and fighting. If any part of this resonated with you, like let's keep the conversation going. We'd love for you to play our games and tell us whether they helped, even for a little while. Find us and tell us what kinds of play-based resistance you're working on. We want to learn what you've discovered and pass it on. The more we share what we learn, and the more we share what works, we all grow. In closing, I want to tell you what Tati Almeida, one of the Los Madres de Plaza de Mayo, told me. She's the lady in the picture a few slides back. She's a 94-year-old human rights activist who's been fighting for justice for her son, Alessandro. The Argentine dictatorship disappeared him 48 years ago. I asked her how she had sustained this fight for so long, and her slogan was militancia y joda, activism and party. She told me, you need to alternate, or else you go nuts. Thank you.